Welcome back to Breadcrumbs for Life. This is Frances, and today we're going to talk a little bit about serving others, the ministry of encouragement. And I don't know about you, but there's been times when I have said things or posted things just because I felt like I needed to share something, or I needed to get something off my chest, or I needed to just talk about what was going on in my life. And I was so surprised that when I got through sharing, that the other person said, I really needed to hear that. Because I wasn't expecting them to say anything like that, but apparently they were going through the same situation, or they were dealing with something similar, and they really needed to hear that they weren't alone in what they were dealing with. And possibly what I said will help them to get through it, or help them find a solution, or something like that. And it got me to thinking that a lot of times we don't say things, or we don't post things because we feel like we may, be telling too much, or we think that people might judge us. But there's a lot of times that our message, the things that we have to share, our stories, help other people. And that's how we can encourage them, to let them know they're not alone. And that is such an awesome thing that we can do that doesn't cost a single thing, is to help them with what they need to hear. And has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had someone say something at just the right time that stopped you in your tracks? It may have been a message, or even a compliment, or a reminder that you matter. And you thought to yourself, I needed to hear that. It wasn't probably too long or fancy. It may have just been something simple like, you're doing a great job, or I see you, or don't give up. But those words stuck with you. Or it may have been a story that the other person was talking about, and it resonated with you, and you thought, man, that's pretty good. I hadn't thought about that. I needed to hear that. And it's also important that if that has happened to you, that you tell the person, hey, thanks for sharing. I needed to hear that, because that helps them to be more confident in sharing with other people. So it kind of works both ways. And the thing is that when you hear those stories that you needed to hear, they stick with you, don't they? You remember those stories because there's a connection now between you and that person that told the story. So it helps us to even build relationships, which is pretty important. And we'll talk more about relationships in the next podcast. But encouraging others builds relationships too. So there's so much power in sharing our stories and connecting with others, because they do need to hear them. Here's the thing. If you have the power to offer something at a moment that matters for somebody else, share it. You don't have to be a counselor or a public speaker. You just have to be willing to speak up when something good comes to your heart. We live in a world where people are so exhausted and overwhelmed and constantly questioning their own worth. And your words that are kind and true and encouraging could be the thing that really helps them keep going. So let me encourage you today. Serving others is not always a grand gesture. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money or time. Sometimes it's just a post, a text, a comment, to let people know that they matter, they're not alone, you're proud of them, you're praying for them, and let them know you've been where they are. So here's a couple of action steps to take. Think of a person you know who might need a lift right now. Send them a message or a note or even a voice memo. Let them know they're not alone. Or you can take it a step further and write something publicly. Make a social post that says what you once needed to hear, and share it with other people, because somebody out there might need to hear it too. You never know who'll be scrolling past, and they might be tired, they might feel unseen, they might be on the edge of giving up, and your words might be exactly the thing that makes them pause and say, I needed to hear that. So here are a few reflection questions. Who in my life needs to hear a word of encouragement this week? What do I wish someone had told me when I was struggling? How can I be more intentional with the words I speak and write and share? You have more influence than you realize, and today you might just be someone's reminder that they are not invisible. They are not failing. They are not alone. Until next time, keep following the breadcrumbs and make a difference. This is Frances.